And welcome back to our 26th speed round, folks. My God, how many? That means if you do the math, because I do one every month, I have done doing the speed round for over 2 years now. Isn't math fun, kids? Doesn't it make you? That means I was 34 when I started doing this. No, 33 when I started doing this. Oh God, have I gotten old and fat and flabby? But you know what makes us feel better? Talking about fictional characters and arguing whether or not they can beat each other. So let's just get started for this. I also realize I gotta get the people's names up here. I gotta give people what they want now. Let's see, where are you? Ghost Rider versus. Oh come on, where was it? I did this for a reason. It's on here. Ghost Rider versus from. Katrina Shoemaker. I believe that's the name. You asked the question, who would win a fight, Ghost Rider versus Michael Myers? I really don't think I have to argue the point that Michael Myers is getting stomped in this fight. Now, yes, Michael Myers, there's some mysticism to him, especially in the original 6 films. They did the whole Colt and Thorn stuff, but that's a moot point. Let's hypothetically say that the pen stare doesn't work on him. Let's just say that. He still is the body of a mortal man. He's still mortal in terms of his body. His body can still take damage. And it's not surviving Hellfire. I'm sorry, it's just not. He also just doesn't have a means to kill Ghost Rider at all. Like, usually carries a knife. Somehow, even if he managed a holy weapon, Ghost Rider would just take the holy weapon out of his hands. Like, I really don't feel like this is for debate. You're talking about a guy who can duke it out with Mephisto, who can duke it out with Galactus, versus a street-level serial killer. Yeah, a very dangerous one at that, but a street-level serial killer. I don't think it needs to be argued whether or not he wins or not. So there's that. Coming to us from Robin and his anime friend, we have Shadow the Hedgehog versus Genos. This is the one that would actually probably make for a good fight. But the problem simply is, once Shadow's the faster one immediately, he's naturally more durable, especially if we go with like the Archieverse. So he can survive, massive falls from, the atmosphere and generally walk it off. And then there's this control over chaos energy, especially if he gets hold of the Chaos Emeralds. That's just a level of power Genos is not capable of dealing with. Genos is one of those characters who, he's the Yamcha, if you will. He's the Worf, if you will, of his world. A strong character who constantly gets his ass beat to illustrate how strong the other characters he's fighting are. So yeah, I go Shadow. Then you got Infinite, another Sonic character, versus Broly. Infinite's got some cool abilities, but Broly can literally shatter reality with his sheer power. And Infinite's another one of those characters who's like really strong, really cool, but it kind of just exists for one cool moment and then gets their ass kicked. At least that's everything I've heard about Infinite anyway. So I would have to go Broly on that. But that, by the by, came to us from Burn the Flame Dragon. Then from Trenton the Skeleton, Thanos versus Samurai Jack. Jack's sword can even cut adamantium. We hear that in this show. But Aku, for all of his power, would be child's play to someone like Thanos. Like, Thanos' level of power is on a cosmic scale. He can literally process and siphon cosmic energy. He's strong enough to go toe-to-toe with Thor and the Hulk. He can withstand planetary devastation to the face and get only a nosebleed. He can dip into a black hole. This is just not a guy made to deal with. And so, yeah, it's unfortunately, it's pretty easily. Even if Jack were to say stab him in the head, it wouldn't necessarily be an instant kill. Not to mention Jack does have relativistic light speed capabilities. Thanos can do multiple beyond light speed capabilities. Then coming to us from Kid Vid Zone, we got Ghostface versus Black Panther. I don't think I need to argue this either. Black Panther would beat the shit out of any version of Ghostface. I mean, he's covered in vibranium to begin with, so nothing Ghostface has is going to do anything. And no, I'm not going to say, well, give him a vibranium knife, it evens it out. A, no, because now I'm trying to give him an edge in the fight when he doesn't normally have that. And B, that would make a fucking bit of difference, because Black Panther on a strength, physicality, skill aspect completely outranks any version of Ghostface, composited or otherwise. So yeah, no, they ain't happening. So yeah, Ghostface would get his teeth kicked in. Then coming to us from Clark Kent 45, Homelander versus Superman. I don't think I need to argue this either. Homelander is one of the weakest clones of Superman, or clones, but weakest duplicates of Superman there is in comics. Like this guy is not even really a planetary level threat. Yeah, he largely can survive a nuke, but that's it's debatable whether or not he could actually survive that or not. That was the only thing they had available that they wondered if it would be able to work or not, and they just know it didn't like do anything. Whereas, look, it's Superman. This is a guy who can dip into the sun no problem, whereas that's not something Homelander can do. Homelander, as far as I know, can't even survive in the vacuum of space like Superman can. So, yeah, no, I don't think any of us are arguing the fact that Superman would wreck his shop. Then coming to us from Quentin Blake, Alucard versus Null. Again, this is just one guy who's like darkness incarnate, kind of, his body is turned in this dark, almost liquid-like material. He swallows souls. He's the king of vampires against against an entity who had predated existence in the voidy black between universes, and literally is the embodiment of darkness itself and can manipulate darkness as it is. Like, he could literally tear the darkness out of Alucard, hurting him. So, no. Yeah, it's clearly Null who wins that fight. Then coming to us from Nate M. Jones, Mr. Incredible versus All Might. Okay, this is one that I did consider maybe keeping as a just standard, who would win, because these guys are not as far apart as some of the other gaps we've seen here. But the problem is, Mr. Incredible's main feats seem to be durability and strength. Sure, he's faster than a normal person, absolutely, but durability and strength is all he really has. Whereas All Might is durability, strength, speed, capable of creating giant wind gusts just by throwing his fist. And on the output level, Mr. Incredible's All Might, in a weakened state, altered the weather. Mr. Incredible, for all of his strength, is not that strong. At least not as far as we know. Like, he can hit All Might with the power of multiple warheads, nukes, basically. Nuclear warheads. And so, I would have to, and when you factor in combat experience, we know All Might's 60 years old. He's been fighting for 40 years. He's just the more skilled individual, too. World-wise, yeah, his is just the stronger world, and he is probably the stronger individual between the two of them. So, yeah, that goes to All Might, in my opinion. Ben 10 versus Max Steel from the Master of Gaming. It's Ben Tennyson, simply because he has aliens that can work on a cosmic scale, versus Max Steel, who, admittedly, when I looked him up for another video, is someone who is strong enough to be a planetary level threat, but not a universal, like, a level threat like Alien X is. And by the way, that's OG Ben, obviously. It's more, that was the image I had available. We're looking at Ben as a total, and when you're looking at things like Clockwork, Atomics, Way Big even. Hell, even Upgrade could be a problem, even though the suit is partially sentient as far as I know. So yeah, that's going to Ben. Doom Guy versus Doomsday from Stan Smith. All right, now look here. Good morning, USA. But no. This is just a level of power. Yeah, Doom Guy has conquered hell. He's the embodiment of something. I can't remember what it was. But Doomsday is just a being on a different level. Like, Doomsday is someone who literally can threaten the fabric of the universe because he can literally go toe-to-toe with Superman, of all people. He's not demonic either, so no, like, say, demonic type of ability. The ability that targets demons or demonic natures would work against Doomsday. So that takes a little bit of the arsenal right out of there. And even if he were able to figure out a way to kill him, he would just come back. The problem with Doomsday is not killing him, even though it's gotten near impossible these days. The problem with Doomsday is keeping him down permanently. Because he'd have to because he adapts to whatever killed him previously. Incineration isn't going to just immediately work on Doomsday. You would need him to experience a type of energy that he hasn't experienced before. And even then, he lacks organs, so lethal hits aren't going to work. He's durable enough to, again, go toe-to-toe with Superman. Even tank the Omega beams, of all things, which is something that Doom Guy would not be able to take if he ever fought Darkseid. and those are just not something he's ever kind of had to deal with. So no, this is just an unstoppable object in Doomsday, really. So Doomsday wins that fight. Then coming to us from Oscar Ramirez, we got the TVA versus the Council. Well, not the Council Ricks, but Rick and Morty in general, their universe. I would say that what's the best way to put it? I would say that the TVA, you would think, should have the edge, because like the Infinity Stones of all things can't work in the TVA because they have magic dampeners. But the Ricks don't deal with magic. Rick himself doesn't deal with magic. Rick has literally taken down an entire citadel of himself on his own. And so has even Morty, but Rick has done that. In fact, I think he's done it like once or a couple times. The Ricks are, if we're just dealing with Rick himself, C163 or something like that is his designated Rick designation. He's more capable, frankly, than the TVA is. He's more intelligent. He can literally hop through dimensions without issue. His portal gun should still work in the TVA. Not to mention, you would just shoot every one of them. Probably just he's beaten god-esque figures before. He's beaten individuals from other realities. Rick's not infallible by any stretch of the means, but he should, by all accounts. Like, even he who remains, who has his time like manipulators, like, oh, that's interesting. Boom, anti-chronotons. They prevent time manipulation. Boom, boom, boom. Say, yeah, that's not gonna work now, buddy. See who remains with the head. And yeah, so yeah, Rick could probably single-handedly bring down the TVA if he really wanted to. Then coming to us from Tanjiro and Robin, we got Ichigo Kurosaki versus Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Now, Pennywise, because he deals with fear, we kind of have a Pennywise. We have Asnod, who was Sternritter at the fear. Ichigo never faced him, mind you, but we have Asnod as a basis for this and how someone can overcome fear. The problem is Pennywise, in terms of how he uses fear, isn't even anywhere near as good as Asnod is. Because, yeah, he can try to delve into what you're afraid of, but he can't actually make you feel fear. He can't just impart the feeling of fear into you like Asnod could. And if you can't do that, you're not winning. Because quite frankly, the Bleach universe scales better than take the whole Dark Tower bullshit out of the equation. With the infinite stories about different stuff, like, but that scaling doesn't work. But Pennywise isn't even the strongest individual in his universe anyway. Yeah, Pennywise just doesn't have a good method of beating these guys. Anyone in Bleach, really. Even humans. Even normal humans, fine. But even like Chad or Hime or even Uryu, the deadlights probably don't even work on them the same way because they experience, they have things that in this world that honestly far surpass Pennywise in terms of horror and destructive capability. So, yeah, Pennywise is not going to have a good time in the Bleachverse at all. So, yeah, Ichigo would win that fight. Then coming to us from Brandon Craig, he asked the National Geographic question of the day: alligator or bull shark? Who wins in a fight? This is interesting because I'm almost certain these fights have taken place in nature. Bull sharks travel up, river all the time. This all comes down to a size of the animal. A maxed out bull shark, I believe, is like somewhere between 10 feet to like 11 feet, 13 feet or something like that. Biggest bull shark on record. Biggest bull shark. Let's try that again. Bull shark. World's biggest bull shark was about almost 11 feet long, weighing about 1,300 pounds. That's how big the biggest, I'm looking at it wrong. Well, while maximum size of Luffy is commonly reported, a single record exists for a female specimen at 13 feet long, weighing 1,300 pounds, which is huge. That's a big animal. Absolutely. Biggest alligator ever. Now the average size is more like around 7 to 8 feet. Biggest alligator ever in the world. Largest alligator ever recorded was reportedly 19 feet 2 inches long. Its size was never officially verified, and it was said to weigh about the same, but just larger than by about a good 7 feet or 6 feet over the bull shark. Now, an average alligator usually comes out more to 10 to 12 feet, which would still be a big alligator. But you see the problem here, their averages and their records don't line up. Alligators can go on land, which means if he needs to, he can just take a break or rest. Neither of these two are really animals known for their stamina. They actually tire very quickly. But in terms of like bite force, the gator's got the stronger bite force. We know that for a fact. And style of teeth, the bull shark doesn't have serrated teeth. It has more sharp teeth. At least not this bull shark teeth. Hold on. Bull shark tooth. Shark teeth. What do bull shark teeth look like? Are they serrated? Actually, no, they're somewhat serrated. They're sharp. I was thinking of like sand tigers, not bull sharks. But the alligators is more. Once the alligator latches on good, it's not letting go. And again, the alligator's got the edge. So I go the alligator. So let's see here. Then we have from, obviously you can see it right here, from Chris J. Clark, Akuma versus Gandalf. Gandalf technically can do better feats with magic, but it's just not magic that's really viable in combat. So it's going to be Akuma, really, because he's just going to overwhelm Gandalf. So there's that. Then we have coming from Nazarish Hussain, Samurai Jack again versus Kim Possible. From a skill, physicality, and technique standpoint, that's a Samurai Jack fight. That goes to Samurai Jack immediately. So yeah, absolutely. Samurai Jack. I don't think anyone's going to argue. It's Kim's skilled, yes, but she's also just a teenage girl where he's a grown man and in perfect physical condition for and beyond. Again, jump good. So he's got the strength and the agility plus a weapon. Granted, the weapon wouldn't kill Kim. It wouldn't, but he doesn't need that to beat her. He's just far more skilled than she is. And the last who would win suggestion for the speed round is Slender Man versus the Mask from Demetrius Clark. And honestly, that is the problem here, is that the Slender Man is so inconsistent about what he can do and what his like scaling is, because it's all fan made. You could theoretically make him the strongest individual in the universe, but that makes him pointless to use for matches now. The Mask basically is kind of infallible so long as he thinks it's funny. So yeah, I would probably have to say the Mask wins. Like, there's nothing Slenderman can do to screw up the Mask. So the Mask wins through a battle of attrition or waiting till daytime, because the Mask doesn't work during the daytime, if I remember correctly. It only works at night. So because if that's the case, then Slenderman would ultimately get the win. So there you go. That's the speed round. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.